Welcome, everyone, to the MMA Happy Hour. I am Kyle Anthony, your host. We're here. We have interviews, MMA banter, and betting advice. This week, UFC Vegas 82, we've got Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig. We're going to be breaking down 3 plays like we always do on the show. And listen, we're coming off a fantastic night last weekend at UFC 295, 8.25 units, 4 clients. Crushed it, dominated, and we're going to do a shot here. Now, listen, I always talk about this. We don't want to celebrate our victories too much, really, because you know what? There's UFC every weekend. We've got to put our money in strong positions, put the profits in the rear view. But listen, once in a while, we got to have a little bit for my guy Clint for last week, a little bit of fireball, right? So this shot's going to be going to my guy, Alex Pereira. Fantastic showing for my guy, Alex Pereira. He was a 5-unit max play. Also, I did have a unit on Pereira to win via knockout, plus 125. This goes to him. Let me tell you something. It was the atmosphere at MSG. I was there. It was nuts. It was awesome. Also ended up getting to the VIP party prior to the main card, which was awesome. Hung out with Jamal Hill and hung out with Justin Gaethje for a little bit. Ended up talking to both of them. And one of the funny things, after I take this story, I'll tell you the story. That's my guy, Alex Pereira. Funny part was that when I went up to Justin Gaethje, first I asked him to kick me in the leg. I said, kick me in the leg. He right away goes, absolutely sure. And I told him no. And then he said that he kicked about 6 people at the party. I was dying. We ended up squaring up. Awesome time there. Made money, had some fun. All around, it was just a great night overall. But again, that's in the rear view. We've got things to talk about this weekend at UFC Vegas 82. If you want to become a client, link down in the description. Take a look. I've got some plays up right now, 3 plays up, 4%. Best bet is also included. All of them right now at plus money. I love plus money. Last weekend, 5 of my 6 client plays were plus money as well too. So we're looking for value. We're not just picking shit out of nowhere. We're looking for value, strong positions, and that's how we make money long term. So if you want to be a client, link down in the description. Also, if you want to get into the fantasy sports side of things, link down there, 100% deposit match on fantasy underdog sports. So also participate there if you are interested. If not, guess what? We're going to talk 3 plays here for you right now. We're going to get into it, and we're going to first talk about the main event of the evening between Brendan Allen and Paul Craig. So this one's an interesting one. This is a very interesting one because this line is wide. It has continued to swell, continued to go on the Allen side here. But when you're looking at this fight here, there are some moving parts of this. And the first part is, yes, both of these guys, you've got Brendan Allen, who is high-level jiu-jitsu. Guy is fantastic on the ground, really has started to blend everything together where he's been a little more cleaner on the feet, has really worked at mixing it up very well because there was a point where all he could do was grappling. And then there was a point where all he wanted to do was strike. Now he's really mixing it up. He's definitely shown a lot of great skills and put it all together. Excuse me. On the other side here, you've got Paul Craig. We know what this guy is capable of. When he's on the mat, top, bottom, sideways, this guy can find a finish, grab a neck, grab a limb. The guy is absolutely fantastic on the ground. Now, the interesting part here about this fight is that this is the second fight for Paul Craig in the middleweight division. And this was something that I thought was interesting last time where I didn't have a bet on it, but I wanted to kind of really see how Craig would look, how he would look dropping down in weight. He's 36 years old. That's never a good sign normally. But he's dropping down in weight. How'd he look? And I thought he looked absolutely fantastic. I thought he, appearance-wise, I thought that his body looked very well. Didn't look drained or any of that kind of shit going on. I thought he really did it very well. And he went out there and fought Andre Muniz. Good fight overall. They definitely he definitely showed a lot of growth there because he went out there and got that finish in that second round. Great showing for Paul Craig, getting that victory and dropping down a weight and still showing opportunity that he can still be a competitive force in the division. Now, both these guys are finishers. When it comes to finishing, both these guys are finishers. Sorry, hold on a minute. Apologize for that. I'm getting over a little bit of a sickness. I think it was just too much Well, let me fix that there. Too much drinking last weekend, to be honest with you. But they're both finishers here when you look at it. And when you look at this spot here, the first thing here is that they're both jiu-jitsu. They're both high level on the ground. And when you look at the finish rate for both these guys, they're able to really do a lot of great things. You've got on the side of it, you've got Allen, 22 victories, 18 finishes, 13 by submission. On the other side here, you've got Paul Craig. Sorry. Hope that's not like blasting people's ears right now. On the other side here, you got Paul Craig, 17 victories, 17 finishes, 13 by submission. So this guy, again, same thing. He's able to go out there. He's able to push the pace. He's able to find those finishes. And whether, you know, he's willing to pull guard, he's willing to do whatever he can to get those finishes. Now, the thing here for me that I do find interesting. Now, I feel like a lot of people want to put, you know, Brendan Allen in parlays. They want to do all kinds of things like that. And rightfully so, right? Rightfully so. Allen, rightful favorite, got a lot of things going on here. But I do believe there are some intangibles here. And one of them I think is going to be is the fact that, you know, Paul Craig is coming down in weight, but he should be the bigger guy. And I think that is a very interesting part here where he could muscle him. He could muscle Allen a little bit, bully him a little bit, find opportunities to grapple a little bit. I mean, there's no doubt at the light heavyweight division, Paul Craig struggled to get wrestling, struggle to get takedowns, struggle to get the control time, those kinds of things, unless, you know, circumstantially things are happening, like what happened with Jamal Hill. You know, if a guy's willing to engage with him, that will help Paul Craig's, you know, it'll help him. Absolutely will help him. And that is where I think possibly the wrestling could be a little bit better for him, because he's going to be the bigger guy. He could be the bully. He could be the stronger guy, looking for the clinch, looking for the takedowns. Now, Allen also, it works in possibly Craig's favor. Now, again, both of them are top level when it comes to the grappling, but Allen's going to look for takedowns. Allen's going to be looking for possible to bring this to the ground. You know, there is that opportunity. Now, if it plays on the feet, I get it. There are opportunities for Allen. He's more crisper on the feet, more versatile striking, more weapons that he uses. You definitely could see that, you know, Craig is not when it comes to just being as crisp as possible. Definitely not. But I do think that, yes, he had struggled with the light heavyweight and takedowns. He could find opportunity here as well, too. Now you look on the other side of it is that both these guys are tough to finish when it comes to submissions. Now you're looking at that. You've got Allen. Last time he got finished or submitted was back in 2017 against Trevin Giles, out of all people, which is fucking crazy. Trevin Giles, and then prior to that, on the other side of that, Paul Craig, he got submitted by Jimmy Crute in 2018. So these guys are, even if they grapple, there's an opportunity for both of these guys to probably get out of it, be safe. They're both high level, and that's kind of where they're going to be maybe risk adverse. And the one thing that we all do know when it comes to two guys that are grapplers, could they just say, screw it, and just stand and have a glorified kickboxing match? That is possible. Now, you know, if that's the situation, they stay on the feet, I think Allen will have that advantage. You know, again, the striking should be better for him overall when you're looking at it. Now, the other side of things is that, you know, I do believe there is opportunity here for Paul Craig. Now, saying that out loud sounds fucking terrible, but I'm not too sure that this line is very accurate here. I mean, I think this is way too wide. I think the line doesn't really make much sense to me when you're kind of, hold on, let me fix that. There, camera. It doesn't make much sense to me. Minus 450 and climbing. I think that's very wide overall. Brandon Allen, again, I get it. Should be the rightful favorite. This seems very wide to me. When you're looking at it overall, I lean the Paul Craig side. And at this point right now, I have not placed a bet on this main event. And if anything, I'll probably have a little bit of a sprinkle on the main event, because I'm not happy with the odds. I'm not happy with the line. And if anything, this is a dog or pass spot. And if the line continues to wide, yes, I may have to place a little bit of a bet on Paul Craig. And I get it. Some people are, you know, you're trying to get creative, probably on the Brendan Allen side. You're trying to do the method of victory. You're trying to figure out, how do we cut this line down? You know, and that's tough. But for me, looking at it right now, I like Paul Craig inside the distance plus 450. I think is absolutely worth a sprinkle here. I think there's going to be opportunities for Craig to, whether they engage in the striking, whether they engage in the grappling. I think Craig's got an opportunity here. And again, being the bigger guy and being able to muscle, plus the fact that it's going to be in the apex, could bring a little bit more action, also could bring a little more grappling. I do like Paul Craig to get this victory here, so I'm going to take him right now, a little sprinkle, plus 450 Paul Craig inside the distance. Now, the next play we're going to talk about here is going to be Jonathan Pierce minus 130. On the comeback here, you've got Joanderson Brito plus 110. Now, when you're looking at this fight here, fix that there. Now, we're looking at this fight here. Let's do a shot. Let's do a shot real quick. Let's do. Now, listen, I don't normally. Listen, I Fireball, you know, I'm a Casamigo guy, but I bought a bottle for Clint when we were going to do some shots. We only did one the last show, so got to knock another one out. All right. So we're looking at a situation here where you've got Pierce. He's got wrestling. He's got pace. Let me fix this again. He's got wrestling. He's got pace. He's got those things that definitely will help him in this fight here, where you've got Brito, very well-rounded guy, explosive, has knockout power, you know, very early. He has the ability to go out there. He's athletic. He's explosive. He does a lot of great things. He is a monster in that first round. I mean, he will go after it. He will be aggressive. And that is really where I think there's an interesting dynamic when you're looking at this fight, because that first round, I do believe, could favor Brito early, where he's going to go for it. And again, I talked about the apex cage being smaller. It could bring a lot of action. It could bring a lot of, you know, swinging, because Brito is kind of a guy who's going to take one and give one. He's completely fine being at range. And I mean, sorry, not being at range, coming in tight, being aggressive, and throwing the big shots. And that can help him overall. But the one thing about Brito is that he is pretty damn well-rounded when you're looking at it. I mean, 15 victories, 6 by knockout, 7 by submission. I mean, the guy can bring it wherever he's bringing it. He's pretty damn good at it. Now, Brito, the issue for me here really is the fact that he red lines it in that first round. He will go for it. He will swing. He will swing for the fences. He's going to be doing all those kinds of things. And I do believe that's going to cause problems. Now, if Pierce can get out of that first round and he can survive. And I say survive. It's not like, you know, Brito's going to just spark him out easy. And yes, he's done that to certain people. You know, some iffy guys. I mean, yes, I give him the knockout against Feely. Fantastic knockout. But Pierce is an animal, man. He's going to go forward, and he's also going to exchange in the pocket. Now, the thing here that I think is probably the path for Pierce is going to be the wrestling pressure. And the guy is fantastic at that when you're talking about wrestling pressure and being relentless and being going in there and looking for the takedowns, looking for the opportunity to just bank around, control around. Those are the things that really Pierce can do very well. And I like what I see from him when you're looking at it overall. The high pressure, the relentless takedowns, the chain wrestling. And again, the apex cage, this could be opportunities for him. And even if he can't get Brito down, I think draining his cardio, I think holding him up against the fence, I think controlling him a little bit, pushing this into the second round is going to help him overall. It's really going to help Pierce. And the thing for me also is it's a good stylistic matchup because of certain things. And the one thing that I think is the most telling thing is, yes, Brito has knocked out 3 straight guys, looked great, done that. But his loss is from Bill Algeo. Now, Bill Algeo and Jonathan Pierce similarly fight, you know, in certain situations, they similarly fight where they can be, you know, very, very, you know, cage pushy, you know, push you up against the fence, hold you there, look for takedowns, control you, keep you there. If you can't really escape from having, you know, your back up against the fence, what's going to happen? You know, you're going to bank around, or you're going to just kind of dirty box your way to winning that round. So there are those things that you got to look at. Now, on the other side of it is the fact that Jonathan Pierce is going to shoot for takedowns. He averages 6 takedowns in 15 minutes. That is fantastic. That is really high when you're looking at it. He also has a 56% takedown success rate. So he's going to push for it, but he's going to keep going for it. If he doesn't get him the first time, he's going to keep pushing. Where on the other side here, you've got Brito, who he's only had to defend 2 takedowns since entering the UFC. since entering UFC, 2 takedowns. Obviously, it was both against Bill Algeo, and both of them, Algeo was successful. And yeah, out of those 2 takedowns, Algeo was able to get 5 minutes of control time. That to me is a path. I mean, that's a path for Pierce. I mean, absolutely a path. I think he's going to be even more wrestle heavy than somebody like Algeo. I think the takedowns are way better for Pierce than Algeo. I think he's just physically stronger, a better wrestler, better cutting distance. I think Algeo may have a little bit more cleaner boxing, better footwork, those kinds of things, where Pierce is going to push forward and he's going to throw the big shot. So this is a spot here where I like Pierce, and we're seeing money has continually kind of trickled in on the Brito side. And this is where, again, another spot I have not placed the wager, but this is a spot I'm looking at Jonathan Pierce right now. I'm waiting to see where that line kind of goes. I think Pierce via decision. Let me fix. Okay. Pierce via decision is also a nice little spot there too, where maybe he drags this out. But if this continues to go down and get closer and closer to a pick'em, I think that Pierce is an easy pick when this line starts continually coming down overall. So I like Jonathan Pierce here. -130, I think is actually a pretty good price. But if it continues to go down, I'm definitely going to be hitting this one as a client play. But as of right now, no play. But I'm taking Jonathan Pierce as my pick. Now, the next one we're going to talk about here is going to be Amanda Ribas versus Joanna Pinheiro. Now, you've got Pinheiro, she's +200. You've got Ribas, she's -265. Okay, so, this one here, I get it. This is another probably where people are looking at a parlay piece. And these is why I like to talk about these fights, because people, sometimes it's easy just to glaze over this and say, hey, Ribas should win. It's, is this who the UFC wants? It's kind of the same thing like Mackenzie Dern last week, right? The same show we came in here, me and Clint talked about it last week, where you're looking at a situation where Dern is fantastic when it comes to on the ground. She is lethal. She is dominating, probably the best female jiu-jitsu player out there right now. But the takedowns aren't there. 15% takedown success rate, issues there, 4 for 25 out of her last 25 attempts. Not the greatest when you're looking at it. Now, Ribas does have the ability to get more takedowns. I think she's a little bit more cleaner when it comes to that, has a little bit more success when it comes to that overall. And, I think there's opportunity for her where you've seen what she's done. But the thing that issue for me here is also that Ribas is coming off of a knockout loss by elbows to Maycee Barber. And now she's dropping in weight after this loss and facing somebody who could stylistically show her some problems here. Now, again, Ribas, if she looks for takedowns, gets it on the ground, I think that Ribas could do very, very well on the ground. We all know that. She's very, very good there. But issue for me is that I don't know if she's going to get it there that easily. I think that Pinheiro's pretty well-rounded. Maybe she hasn't faced the caliber of Ribas, which I think also pushes this line a little bit wider to the -265. She's faced Caitlin Chikagian, Marina Rodriguez, Viviane Araújo, Maycee Barber. I mean, she's faced some tough talent where you look at, on the other side, the most notable win for Pinheiro is a split decision victory over Michelle Wooderson Gomez. So that's not like nothing if I can run home about. But with that said, it's, she's starting to come into her own now, and Pinheiro now is getting opportunity to fight a pretty tough opponent. This is definitely a tough opponent stylistically. But with that being said, is that she's well-rounded. Pinheiro is well-rounded. I think that she's got a good game. And I think the biggest issue also for Ribas' side is she does not take punches very well. She really does not. I think she struggles with certain spots. We've seen her dropped, rocked, wobbled multiple times. Her stand-up is a little herky-jerky. She can be hittable. And if this plays out on the feet, this line will be, is going to be way too wide if this plays out on the feet. This line, I think, is more indicative of Ribas getting the takedown, control time, possible sub, or banking rounds. And yes, that's possible. It's absolutely possible. But Pinheiro, I think she definitely has the ability to throw big shots. We've seen, Marina Rodriguez knock out Ribas. We've seen Barber, just the last fight, knock out Ribas. Now we've got another female here who throws heavy, who's got big power. And yeah, she's not a notable fighter, but she will go for it. She will swing. She's got quick hands, especially early. She's got quick hands. If she can hurt Ribas in that first round, I think it starts to trickle into those second and third round. And I think the knockout is even live here for Pinheiro. But this is a spot where I don't like Ribas here. I've never been a Ribas person. Looks-wise, voice-wise, no. But I like Pinheiro here, plus 200. Give me that in a WMMA fight. Give me that. I'm taking Ribas plus 200 as my last free play. So there you have it for UFC Vegas 82. We're going to do one more quick shot here. And if you want to become a client, link down in the description. We are over 22 units over the last 30 days. Not too bad. And 11-2 run on releases for clients. Feeling good. Got to keep it going. Finish this year strong. Let's knock this one last one out. I mean, listen, it's the MMA happy hour for a reason. So that's it. If you want to become a client, link down in the description. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, all those great things. I appreciate it. And let's cash. See you next week.